Welcome back to Kaulignation, your one-stop shop for all things Kaulig, Dingernation, SVGNation, and all things NASCAR. I'm Sean. He's Ryan. Big shout out to our channel sponsors, Lynn over at SVGNation on Facebook, Alex over at Dingernation on Facebook, and to our patrons, thank you for supporting us on the level that you do. Obviously, if you become a patron member, you get bonus content, which we release every week. We do short form only here on YouTube now, unless it's a live stream, but you can get long form content over there. We usually do 20 to 30-minute episodes on the checkered flag tier, and then the last two episodes we've done for the Kaulig and Trackhouse Nation podcast have been in the hour and a half range. So please feel free to head on over there, support us, get the bonus content. Patreon.com/Kaulig Nation. In this video, we're going to talk about why Austin Dillon winning at Richmond is actually a good thing for SVG. And I don't mean just a little bit, I mean a lot. It significantly increases his chances of advancing in the round of 16. We're going to touch on some Kaulig stuff as well. But in the meantime, our multiple choice question for this video is, do you think Austin Dillon winning at Richmond is a good thing for SVG's chances of advancing in the round of 16? Comment yes or no down below, please, and share your thoughts there. Well, Ryan, he went out and proved that last year was no fluke. The 3-car finds itself in victory lane despite being about 28th in points. It was kind of cool to see. I don't know. I'm not exactly on the RCR bandwagon at the moment for a variety of reasons that we've discussed here and discussed over on Patreon, but there's no doubt that he deserved to win that race given how he was running. And all I could think to myself in the closing laps was, wow, this is a big benefit for SVG. And to give you a little bit of a preview on our last set of Patreon content we've done, is one of the things we were discussing is how SVG needs to advance past the round of 16. And the truth is his chances didn't look great. I know some people might be scoffing at that idea, but you came up with the stat that he's probably going to have to finish top 17 on average in those 3 races to move on. And if you're wondering how many ovals in a row how many times in 3 ovals in a row SVG has averaged a 17th place finish or better this year, the answer is none. Hasn't happened yet. However, Austin Dillon winning, I would say that number gets a little more friendly. It maybe goes down to even 19th or 20th. You never know when Austin Dillon's going to pull a rabbit out of the hat like he did today, or yesterday rather. But I think when you look at Austin Dillon winning, that now gives SVG Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, and maybe slightly to a lesser extent Austin Cindric. I think when you look at those 3 guys, SVG has a chance at outrunning them on 3 ovals in a row. Which means you really only need one other guy to have issues if you can run consistently. And I know people might be saying, bonus points, wins. Ladies and gentlemen, he only has 16 points up on 13th place. That is not a lot. That can be gone in one race, and I do expect most of it will be gone in one race. The problem is SVG is not on the level of the other 11 drivers who are going to advance on ovals. He just isn't. And if you think so, you're fooling yourself. Statistically, in every category, he is worse than those other 11 guys. But I do think he's exceptionally better than the 3 guys that I mentioned, which means he really only needs to be better than one of 12 guys in total. And I think that's doable, especially with a 16-point bonus. I think it's, for some of them, it'd be less than that, actually, for some of them. But Ryan, how important do you think Austin Dillon winning is to SVG's chances of advancing past the first round?
Yeah, I think you and I were having similar wavelengths. We haven't really talked about this until we prepped for this video just a few minutes ago. But last night I had the exact same thought. It's like, man, this is going to really give SVG a little bit better opportunity to advance. And I find it interesting, just in general. One of our very good friends, Lynn, who is a huge supporter of SVG, she made a message to us last night saying she was disappointed that Alex Bowman didn't win. And Wallace, in general, I wholeheartedly agree. I like Bowman significantly more than I like Dillon. Dillon winning is a much better outcome for SVG fans. Again, he was 28th in points. SVG is higher up in points than he is going into this race. Josh Berry has struggled significantly since the early part of the year. And then below that, there really weren't a lot of drivers in the playoff hunt that I felt SVG could theoretically run better than for 3 consecutive races. Yeah, you mentioned Austin Cindric, but he still drives a Penske car, and he finished 5th last night. When Penske hits a setup for all of their drivers, and Cindric is not a slouch. He's not going to shoot himself in the foot. So even that was a bit of a stretch. So when we looked at the playoff picture, and we're talking about guys that are right on this bubble, it was Chris Buescher. We even have Alex Bowman is right on the bubble. Right above him is Tyler Reddick, who made the championship 4 last year. Like, these are the 3 guys at the bottom of the playoff poll. And now that Austin Dillon has won, it's pushed Chris Buescher out. And I think all of those drivers that I just mentioned are significantly better than SVG, significantly better than half the playoff grid, if you want my humble opinion. They just haven't won yet. And trying to beat them over the course of 3 races is going to be really hard. And you mentioned the playoff points, right? SVG has 22 playoff points, which is great. But down at the bottom there, and Austin Dillon has 5 for winning the race. So there's only a 17-point cushion that he has. And now a couple cars that might advance without winning, they would have 0. So you'd have a 22-point cushion there. But it's not a lot. And when you go to a place like Darlington, which is a really challenging track, I would have expected a Tyler Reddick, an Alex Bowman, a Chris Buescher, even though he's below the cut line now, all of those guys to get stage points. And that cushion would disappear within the stages of Darlington. So it was going to be a challenge for him to advance. I definitely think his odds increased significantly with this win from Austin Dillon. I fully expect him to outrun Austin Dillon all 3 races. I do. Dillon, outside of randomly being really, really good at Richmond, which he has been now for 2 years in a row, he kind of sucks everywhere else. So, it's going to make the opportunities bigger for SVG, continuing to run consistently. Finishing 14th last night was really crucial for him, and he showed speed at Indianapolis before the road course there at Glen. He ran pretty well at Iowa before kind of making his own little mistake, but we're seeing that improvement from Shane. And if he can continue to click off these top 20s, top 17s, top 15s even, he has himself a real chance to advance now. Because you're right, all it takes is one driver to have 1 or 2 bad races, and doesn't matter how good they are, those bad finishes will cripple them in the playoffs. So build that up, take your chances, and the odds got significantly better last night.
Before we go here, I just want to give a shout out to our buddy Owen Johnson over at Cup Scene, who is covering the race we got to speak with this week. I know we're going to have him on the channel in the near future. I know we spoke with Jaron Antley, the car chief of the 16. He plans to come on in the future, as well as drawing a blank here on the other one. There's a third name, so I don't want to get it wrong. But Owen Johnson had a chance to talk with AJ Allmendinger this past weekend and ask him about the relationship between Kaulig and RCR and One Welcome and where it's at today, and if there's any benefits or whatever. And AJ basically said, that's probably a question for Chris Rice. You should maybe ask Chris Rice about that. AJ didn't want to comment on it at all. And if you think that that's normal, it's not, because AJ has commented on One Welcome before. This time he chose not to. It's not surprising given the rumors that are out there. Please leave a comment down below. Click the like button. It helps us a lot. Share the video around even if you want. It helps us. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Kaulignation. We will see each and every one of you in the next video.